Hi everyone, and welcome to our channel Search, Save, and Salvage. We are sorry for the delay in videos, but we're going to start back up with our how-tos. On today's how-to is gnomes. We are going to make these gnomes using Dollar Tree items. You could do them anyway, and a lot of our stuff is optional, and I'm going to explain to you how. Our supplies for this are 2 trees from Dollar Tree. You can either do the green or you can get the white. Choice is yours. You're also going to need 2 Dollar Tree booty ornaments. You're also going to need a Dollar Tree scarf. You are also going to need 1 cable tie. Doesn't matter the length, we can trim it down to where we want. They have packages of them at the Dollar Tree. I think that's exactly where these came from, and they're nice and long, but really, we're just using a little. So you need one of those. We're also going to need this styrofoam block from the Dollar Tree. Completely optional. You can use whatever you have. But I'm going to use this, and really, you can get 6 to 8 gnomes out of this. So, and then you're going to need ornaments. At the Dollar Tree, I had bought red, silver, and gold. So today I'm going to use a red one. And I'm not the glitter fan on this project, so I'm going to use 1 red one. Glue gun, glue sticks, and I use a steak knife to cut the styrofoam, or if you have a crafts cutter, perfect. And I also bought this twine. I believe there are 3 rolls that come in at the Dollar Tree. I think it was at the Dollar Tree. But you just need twine, and I'll show you why. This is optional. So to begin with, one of our options is we don't have to use a Dollar Tree scarf. You can actually use any fleece material you have, any scrap material you have from other projects. These are our Dollar Tree options, and they have more. They even have a red checked one. Or I used a scrap buster and made a football one for my husband. So let's begin. This is really beginner friendly. There is no sewing involved, but it's optional. And if you watch our channel, you know I like to sew. So I'll be sewing, but you don't have to. First thing we're going to do, let's open our scarf because I didn't. We're going to take our ornaments. We are going to cut off the tags and remove the Merry Christmas items on 1 boot. Only because they're all uniform. So we can't have 2 feet facing the same way. So we're going to remove that. But you can position your feet any way you want. If you don't want them straight on and you want them to see the Merry Christmas on both sides, you can stand them this way. Totally up to you. That's another option. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our styrofoam after we cut off our things. Oh, you're going to need scissors. Sorry, but you could use your craft knife or your house knife to cut these off. And I cut the little hangers right off because there's no need to see them. And I'm going to remove all of these things, and they come right off. You can save them from another project if you want to use it on something else or whatever. The holly berries, they do come off. Sometimes they leave a little bit of glue, and I'll just cut them off. See, that one's off. We're going to take our thing. We're going to take this. And we are going to cut a piece off that fits inside here. And I'm going to show you why. So, you just cut a square. So this is about 1.5 inches thick. I'm going to cut that in half. And I'm going to fit it inside our boot, just like that. And I'm going to do that to both boots. Put it right inside. So that's 2 little pieces that you used out of this. next thing I'm going to do is open our trees. For this project, you only need the tree. We do not need the plastic things, but we're going to keep them inside in case we think of something. And we're going to remove the bottom piece of our tree. So they'll look like this. So we take these 2 trees. I tried to have everything ready so it's a shorter video. We're going to take our block and we're going to put our tree down in the center, all the way down. Now I use the styrofoam block because it gives the tree something to go in. And then when it's sitting down, it has a little bit more, not oomph, but oomph, I guess you could say. So I'll do that one more time to show you the other one. I take my block and I'm just shoving it down inside, maybe. And don't worry about it if it starts to come apart, the green. Just move the tinsel up and cover it. If there's any pieces coming off, you can glue them in shape. But the block, I'm not worried about. So if it comes out the edges, you just got to brush it off. We want that fit. So I'm going to take my second tree. I'm going to put aside the stand pieces, and I'm going to pull off the bottom of the tree. I'm then going to take my boot, and I'm going to put this right in the middle, and I'm going to push down as far as I can. Here's an example. This was pushed, and you can see the green. So I'm just going to pull this is because the tinsel fell off. So you just got to get that back on there. No worries. Sorry, that's my dog. Voila. No one's going to see the bottom, but see that? I just pushed it back in. There's some along the side here, and I'm just going to brush that off. See? It's very forgiving. So now that I've put that in there, I'm going to take it out. Why are you going to take it out? I know. And that's what the hole should look like. And I'm going to take my glue gun, and I'm going to put some hot glue in the hole. I'm not going to fill it or anything like that. I just want to make sure that the tree is going to stay in there. And then I push it right back in. I'm going to do it again with the other one. I've put it in there. I'm going to take it out. And it might come with you, but that's all right. And I have this. Put it back in there. So it has the hole. I'm going to add some glue. And I'm going to push the tree right back in. I'm going to do it right away because otherwise the glue will drip down to the bottom of the styrofoam. So once you put in the glue, if you just quickly put it back in, it'll adhere to the center of that. So nice. It's still movable, but it's got that oomph. So now we have 2 feet. Well, 2 feet ready to go. Our next step is we're going to take our 2 trees. Too many feet. Too many feet. We're going to take our 2 trees. And I'm just going to go push these out of the way just a little bit because I want to get to the middle of the tree. This piece right here. And I'm just going to show it off or move everything so I can see it is what I mean by show. And I'm going to put my feet side by side. And let's see if I can do it facing you. I have my feet standing up on the table and I'm just pushing them together because I want his feet together. I'm going to take my cable tie and I'm going to put it about 2 inches from the top. And I'm going to put the cable tie on backwards. Not really, that's really not a step. I did that on accident. And I'm going to pull it nice and tight. And then I'll take my scissors. I'm going to cut off the end. Very simple. We're in the very simple part. It's all simple. And then you just have to fluff up the trees so they look like a little figure. What I do is I try to have everything on top come down because he's going to be wearing the hat, and I don't want a big bulge up top. So the top of the tree, I just move it down, have it all come down. And then I'll take the bottom. If I got too long of a branch, I just wrap it around the other tree. You know, sometimes you get that really long one because they're Dollar Trees, so they're not perfect. But who is? And that's all I'm going to do is fluff it. I know that the first 4 inches is going to be covered up with the hat. So my top 4 inches, I'm going to face it down so the hat has something to rest on. The back, because you don't always put these against a wall, you just want to cover it up so that there's no big holes. In the front, I always try to make it so that there's a space for his nose. But you can put the nose in no matter how full the tree is, and the fuller the better. If you wanted to add a 3rd tree, you could probably fit 2 feet in here. So that's done. So I'm going to put him aside for a moment, and we're going to talk about his hat. We are going to take the Dollar Tree scarf. It's folded in half, but I'm going to take it and make right sides facing each other. Whatever side you want on the outside, you're going to face them to each other. I know, don't tell Sue that I lost my tripod. Again, I think she's given me 30 of them. So, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut about 4 inches up from the bottom of the tassel side. And that's it. I cut about 4 inches, double-sided, because I folded it in half. I'm going to fold this in half because we're going to make mittens, because all gnomes need mittens. So we need 4 pieces to make our 2 mittens. So I just cut off that end of the scarf, folded it in half, and now I have 4 layers of mittens. And all I'm going to do is cut the oval for the hand, because the mittens are very plain. So I'm going to do that. It doesn't matter if you cut it on the fold or the other side. If you cut it on the fold, you just have to cut through the folds. So that's all I did. Don't need a pattern. Doesn't have to be perfect. Voila. See? No thumb. That's just a... Get rid of it so it doesn't... That's it. Then I'm going to put this aside because we're going to use that after. Now, for the hat. So I have the rest of my scarf folded in half, and I'm going to cut. And again, I wish I had my tripod, but I'm going to cut from the bottom corner and go up and make a slight angle. I want to go from this tip to this bottom, but I don't want it to be a triangle. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I usually make it a fat round. Let me show you. So I'm starting at the bottom corner, and I'm going to go up to the opposite corner, but I'm going to take my sweet time getting there. So it's going to have a little bit of a curve, because we want to have the hat sit on the side with a knot in it. See. So it's not straight, doesn't have to be perfect at all. That's it, and it's the length of the scarf. you could put these away into a scrap pile and use them for filling for other items. So I have the triangle. Now here comes an option. Option number 1. You have scrap material. You don't want to use this. You have an old pair of jeans, old shirt, old t-shirt, leftovers from a quilt. You really like a certain fleece. You could take your fleece, start at a corner, and just cut it as high up as you want. The choice is yours. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. It's however big you want your hat. On this one, that's all I did with my Patriots. I cut it to how long I wanted it. Here comes another option for you. I took my sewing machine and all I did was take the 2 pieces and sew up, pivot, and sew back. Straight stitch, nothing fancy. That's what I did. And then I turned it right side out because these are still, we had turned it good sides facing each other. So we're going to sew up and sew down, straight stitch. You don't have to sew. You can take your glue gun and glue up one side, come down and glue down the other, stick it, but be careful you don't burn your fingers. Stick it, give it a minute to cool down, and then turn it right sides out. I want to make sure my hat stays downward, so I tie a knot in it. I tie a simple knot. Of course, I can't get it undone. But I tie a knot. I take it, and I push it through, and voila. That's it. Really complicated. It's not complicated. So now I have my hat. And you're going to say, Ruth, this looks atrocious. It doesn't. We're going to fold it under like this. You can sew this if you need a sewing, but you don't have to. You can glue it, but you don't have to. So that's his hat. We're going to put it aside. And before we put that together, we're going to work on our mittens. So our mittens are right sides together still. This is your option. You can go around the hole outside with a sewing machine and then turn them right side out. Or you can hot glue them. You don't have to sew. There's no sewing involved. When you're done sewing or gluing, turn them right side out. So now we have a hat and mittens. These are what the mittens look like. This is how they started off like. You can make them as big or little. They start out a little bit bigger, but of course, and mine don't always, these two matched up pretty good, but I don't take any rhyme or reason to make sure they match or don't match. So now I've got a hat, mittens, and our tree. So I didn't finish pulling all these out because I want to see what it looks like with this hat on. So I'm just going to fold this in just a little bit. And I'm going to put his hat on. And I'll show you why we don't have to close up the hat. So you put them anywhere you want, wherever you think good. You move the tree's limbs. So he's situated wherever you think the rest of his face should go. So, again, perfection is in the eye of the maker. So if you want to move it around any way you can, I'm just moving the leaves, or the branches if you want to call them. And that side's good. I've seen similar videos of people making these gnomes, but they don't use all Dollar Tree items. This guy's about 2 feet tall. And to me, he's perfectly fine using Dollar Tree items. So I moved all the sticks the way I wanted him to. This is how he looks for now. I'm going to just plop this head on the outside, and the knot is what gives it a little bit of weight. Without the knot, it might blow back here, up there, whatever. And we don't have to glue this down. This will stay. So now he's a gnome, so he needs a nose. These ornaments come with no glitter, glitter. You can use whichever one you want. So I'm going to put his nose on him. So all I'm going to do, and this is why we don't have to glue our hat shut, I'm going to put some glue on him. And I'm going to stick it right where I want the nose to go. Stick it right inside there and hold for a second so it gets the glue. So now his nose is all set. But then I'm going to take the top of it and I'm going to put a little dot of glue. Just a little one. And I'm going to fold his hat down on it. That way, his hat will never come up and you'll see that it's an ornament. And don't worry about all these glue strings because we can get rid of them. So now this is what I have. Cute, huh? We still have Mittens. So when we cut the scarf, if we've only used the scarf, we put this aside. If you just remove 2 of the pieces of coordinated yarn, then you have ties for your mittens. If you're using fleece that you have in hand and you don't have coordinated yarn, this is when you could use the twine. Gives it more like a breasted look. So for this one, I don't have any coordinated, so I'm going to use the twine. So we're going to look at our gnome and we're just going to pick out where do we think his hands would be, if gnomes had hands that were on a tree. And all I'm going to do is pick out like this one, and that's kind of long. I'll put one here and one here. So all I do is put them on the branch. Very simple. And I'm going to take the twine. You can cut it as long or as short as you want. Depends on if you want to have ends. And all I'm doing is tying a knot. You could tie a knot. You could tie a bow. Some of mine have bows. Some of them have knots. It's all up to you. But I don't want to take too much attention away from the character on the fleece. So I just double knotted it and I'm going to cut it off. All right, let's do the other one. Gonna put his glove on so his little hands won't get cold. And then I'm gonna take the twine. And I'm just gonna double knot it. And cut it off. And this is what you end up with. A little gnome. Isn't that cute? The reason I put the styrofoam in is so that they'll stand up better. So here's another example of all Dollar Tree. The scarf. And the gold bowl. And if you wanted to use, I believe that Walmart has some foot, but I don't know what they are in Revelation 2, the size of the boot, because this is taller and the trees were taller, so I thought this would give it a better base. Optional is you can add lights. You can, Dollar Tree has, I don't have any, but Dollar Tree has battery operated lights. And you can push that right through there while you're putting it together, and you can hide his battery pack down here. If you happen to see some of the green in there and you don't like it, just take one of the bottom limbs and tuck it into the boot. And of course, you can fluff them any way you want. But that's it. That's our Dollar Tree item. It's a recycled. You can use any material. You can use your husband's favorite shirt and you want it to go to the trash, but he loves it so much. Make him a gnome with it. Doesn't have to be one of these. You can use a styrofoam ball if you have any in your stocking. You can spray paint them, whatever. So that's it. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. If you hit notification button, you will get a notice every time we upload videos. We have many more how-tos for the Christmas season. So join us, come back, and it was great seeing everybody. Okay, I can't really see you, but it was great doing this video for you. Have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have a good holiday. Bye.